Men have been using mad jets, and the entire population, like high-pressure guns, is even more volatile. Original 3 hours of aircraft were aired for 5 years. What is more odd, however, is that all passengers on board aircraft are not detected. Anyone is considered to be a 3-hour ordinary voyage, but the families of the passengers are considered to have been subjected to uncertainty. Contact preparation of the request for landing did not seem to have led to a direct reduction in the number of persons working in Taipei and the airport after ground personnel heard 188 flights after repeated confirmations of thousands. The land was authorized to land, but landed at an isolated standby airport. Aircraft, they are not family members, but a large number of police and journalists. Passengers see this as well as panic and do not discuss it. What? This is a bit. Please see the message of the police visit that directs the public to suspect that all human beings are born, and they face the skirmishes. Is it true? Because for them, it is only 3 hours in the past, and how can the aircraft last 5 years? So, in order to investigate the obvious reasons, the police searched for the detention of the aircraft and all persons on board the aircraft, and asked the passengers on a case-by-case basis. The answer was unanimous. No special incident occurs on the aircraft, but only on the way the darkness, the body of the aircraft, but the normality, even the inspection of all items on board the aircraft, has not been restored. No anomalies were found. Under the umbrella of the police, only the release of passengers and the reunification of family members is good. Although only 3 hours have passed since the arrival of the aircraft, families, however, are waiting for 5.5 years. During this period, many people and subjects have long been left uninhabited. 7-year-old daughters have changed. Satisfaction, a sister who had been a pupil, is also a gap, as was the case in the police. Kyla, who was once again mature. Many of the men and friends can see his fingers on his hands, so that he can understand that he is married and his own laws. This makes her uninformed. The only good news is that of white blood. He was left for only 6 months, after 5 years of scientific and technological development, with new developments. Treatment programs. Perhaps it can be addressed. At the same time, the investigations group is continuing to inspect aircraft, who want to establish the truth and why aircraft can fly over 5 years a day. All of them. Are there any changes in passengers? Is it accidental or otherwise? The question of whether these differences can be answered, the brain voices of boys, but the mains did not understand what was happening, but since he had been flying in the home for 5 years. This is followed by an odd voice that is often in the mind. On that day, the mainstay runs through a yard, one of the sounds of the mind. Only 2 dogs were seen in the courtyard, and were not in mind, then left. Evening, sleeping, mind resoundingly, she remains replicated. She came to the yard of the day. This is also the case for the brothers' garage, for this purpose. The same sound is often present in the minds of Kara, where his brother's sisters tutored the dogs. Second day, police controls, clear pictures of 2 people's dogs. As a result of the former boy and friend of the city of Jagoa, it is only found in the courts, simple. A censure was followed by fear with him. And this is the strange time for the minds of the Cayman Islands, when he cannot resist his voice, it is only guided by the sound. After being searched, he stayed on a single trip, without saying that super iron batons where the door was opened. When he opened the door, the circumstances were the 2 young girls who had disappeared for a long time, the dog owner, the thing lost, the super iron bar. Preferential and timely reminders are made to hide the past and then quickly control the dog's manes, and to succeed in breaking down the family of adolescent girls. Keela is also successful in restoring his post. He is informed that he can return to the police service tomorrow. However, for too long, the public is called upon. This one is his brother and brother Bar, and all those on board the flights have come to the airport as if they were questioned, and not to mention. Public taken together, all of the statements made by the public were made by the explosion of the odds of the occupants and the persons present. Unanimous claims that they are guided to come to the airport. As a result, just overflights occurred and surveillance showed that they were better off. No aircraft close to it may be released only after questioning of fruitless persons, but the head warned against the requirement of security in the country in question, and they should not no one shall disclose. For them, however, this is just beginning. 5-year-old aircraft suddenly re-emerged. The investigation team is prepared to demolish its research room in a mysterious manner in its own self-insurance. However, for too long, a passenger takes off at home. Police. The investigation was followed by a prima facie case of burglary, but the truth behind it was embarrassing. The driver, since returning, active in the media at large, claiming that they know the truth about 8 flights, the result was later killed, as in the case of France. There is a mysterious force that is hidden. B. Del Hygiene and the brother, after having seen the news, felt behind, then developed. They arrived at the scene to find a small government. According to his description, since his return, the conduct has been surprising, as has been the case with the individual telephone calls. 24 hours think not only that he has been discouraged from accepting the interview and that he has answered that his own occupants must do the same, and also from that. Domestic workers are informed about 24 hours of home dressing in a commercial garrison in a cousin, a pair of water stipulations, a pupil, a doctor passenger of a doctor, also 8 occupants, who found a special protein substance in his own and car blood. All passengers of the normal person who are not close to death and who have been rescued will have such a light as to suspect that 828 flights are carried out. This requirement may be traced to an organizational test. They think of the nuclei of the victim, but the system of registration is accepted by the person of the National Security Agency. Nobody else. Their suspected body is hidden. Unforeseen during the journey to Kyla collision. When Kyla saw no injuries to the other, there was an alarming discovery that all the truth was left to the family. Killing. In 5 years of disappearance, the husband's care was good by the man, and he then slowly adopted herself as a female leader, and he also enjoyed very well this life. He felt that his back was lost together. However, nothing has ended. English and Spanish, an all-encompassing woman, like a sculpture, is replicating guidance or implied.